Hello, everybody. It's Laura. Today, we're going to talk about the no contact rule and why it's so important, and really why we would use the no contact. So, usually, when you're doing the no contact, it's because you have just broken up in a relationship. Usually, it's not mutual. Usually, you have been dumped. So that's one reason why we use the no contact rule. So no contact rule, we usually do it. Um, there's one way we do it. First of all, let's talk about how we do it. Basically, is that you stop all contact. The person dumps you. You're not happy with that. Usually, you're the one who's already been chasing the person. Because usually, when someone dumps you, they're not the one who has been chasing you and who's been like more attached to you, right? So it's safe to say you're in that position. You're the one who is chasing that person. You're the one who has been more attached to that person. So that would be why you would do the no contact rule. You would do the no contact basically is to try to get that person to miss you. So this is what happens when someone basically breaks up with you. Basically, they don't want to be with you anymore, right? If it was a long term relationship, they may put you kind of on the back burner and decide that, if I don't find someone else or if things don't go wrong, I might want to date that person again in the future. They may contact you once in a while. They may try to be your friend, or they may not contact you. Usually, when they're not contacting you, you're the one contacting them. You could be texting them, you could be calling them. They may not be answering your texts or your calls at all. And then you think, oh, well, they don't, they're like mad at me or they don't have any more interest in me and the no contact rule won't work. And that's not particularly true. Because even if you're contacting them and they're not answering you, they may still kind of be getting that comfort from you, like knowing that you're in that position, knowing that you still care, knowing that you still desire them. And that kind of gives them some power. And it gives them a feeling of, okay, I'm good. I could put that person in that position and they'll still want me in the future and I'll still be able to control them. So by stopping all contact with this person, now you're kind of taking the control away from them. And now they're feeling a little bit of doubt. They're going from, okay, this person's contacting me, this person's talking to me, oh, this person's trying to reach out to me. And now all of a sudden they're not. What's going on here? So it gets a little bit scary for that person. And they don't feel as certain keeping you on the back burner there. Because that's what they're usually doing, is trying to keep you on the back burner. So all of a sudden you stop contacting them. You don't call them. You don't text them. You don't try to bump into them. You don't see that person anyway. And they begin to wonder. This will usually happen if there is still some kind of interest. I mean, if there's absolutely no interest, the no contact rule is not going to work. So you have to have some kind of interest in that person, or they have to have some kind of interest in you. This is a very hard thing to do for most people, especially if you're used to chasing and pursuing. Just stopping contact is very hard because you think, oh my God, I'm going to completely lose this person now. They're never going to want to see me again. And that's natural to think that way. But actually, you're going to cause the opposite to happen. That person's curiosity and their interest is going to start growing. Because now they're going to think, okay, this person, he's not contacting me. I mean, he was all over me all the time. I had to kind of push him away. And now all of a sudden, this person's not contacting me. So they're starting to wonder, did he find somebody? It could be for a man or a woman. Did she find somebody? Is she dating another guy? Or no, if it's a guy, did he find somebody? Is he dating another guy? What's going on? I'm not comfortable. I'm not feeling this because I want them. I'm losing that comfort of like having that person in the backup, right? So now they're going to start to wonder and they may come out. Usually they will come out and contact you. Now, when they do contact you, that's where you have to be careful. Because most people, when they get that contact, they will just go right back into it. They will just be over pursuing, doing everything that they're not supposed to be doing. when they contact you, usually they're contacting you to see what's going on. What's happening to this person? Why are they not contacting me? Is there another person involved, another man or a woman involved? So the first contact is usually going to be out of curiosity. Okay, I gotta know. They may ask to see you. They'll usually ask to see you that day if they do want to see you. Usually to know, do I still have that person at my beck and call? Especially if you were that type of person in that relationship where you always stopped everything to see them and you're always available to see that person. So they're going to say, okay, am I still on top? So they may ask to see you. They may say, hey, can we meet up tonight? The best thing for you to do is to not see that person right away. Don't do it on their terms. Do it on your terms. Say, hey, it was nice to hear from you, but I really can't do it tonight. I'm busy tonight. Whatever reason you could put. And just say, but I'd like to see you. How about next week, Thursday? Or you could say 2 days. 2 days would be actually probably be better. Say, you know what? I have some time on Wednesday or Thursday to see you. Which one work for you? Don't say you're completely free, because then it's going to look like, okay, you're doing nothing those days. Say you have some time, so it looks like you're busy, because you don't want to give them the impression that you're sitting around and you were sitting around waiting for that call and be like, oh, yes, come back. And then all of a sudden, it's just going to fall apart on you. And I had this situation with an ex of mine a long time ago where he dumped me. I was over pursuing. I was a very needy person. I was over pursuing, texting him, calling him all the time. And when he let me go, I still kept texting and calling. And then I found out about the no contact rule. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me try this. I actually still worked with him, but I only saw him on the road. So it wasn't like we saw each other in a building. We didn't see each other every day. So I said, okay, I'm going to try this no contact rule. So I stopped the text. I stopped the calls. If I did see him in passing, really didn't make eye contact, didn't really wave or anything. He wasn't waving either. So a few days, he would see me, we would see each other when we passed by, and he would kind of like ignore me. So he was just easing into it. And then all of a sudden I saw that he would, like if I did pass by him and I saw him, he would start to get his interest. He'd be like, what's going on with her? And then finally he contacted me. And I was blown away. I was like, because everything that happened till then, he would ignore every one of my texts, every one of my phone calls. It got to that point where it looked like he didn't want any contact with me at all. So I was floored. I was like, wow, he contacted me. This is great. So we kind of met up to say hi. And he wanted me to actually talk to him at that moment. He wanted me to sit there and chill with him. I couldn't at the time. I said, you know what? I have something to do right now. When are you busy? What are you doing later? Because he wanted to see me that day. And he said, I think he said he finished at 5. And I finished at 4:30, but I had to hang around because I was going to my gym at 6. So I was like, okay, why don't I meet you at 5 when you're done with what you're doing? And then he looked at me and said, oh, I'm not available at 5. And then the first thing that came into my head was to compromise and to offer another time or another day. And I just looked at him and said, you know what? Some other time then. And we walked away. I said, I'll see you later. And we walked away. Come 5 o'clock, all of a sudden, he was available. And I thought I wasn't going to see him then. I was like, no, I'm not going to see him now because I rejected him, I'm thinking he wasn't really available at 5. A lot of times when people say they're not available, they're available if you're important enough to them. So you have to kind of do that takeaway, which I learned from Corey Wayne, he's a great YouTuber. He's on there and he does a lot of relationship advice. So I'll use some of his terms, but I will give him credit when I use his terms. Is that takeaway where don't be afraid to just walk away and say, okay, you know what? If you can't meet me at this time, I'm not going to sit there and go over my whole schedule and try to make a time that works within your schedule. You know what? You're the one who wants to see me because I did no contact. So you're the one who wants to see me. So I'm going to be, I tried to compromise with you first. I'm not going to keep going on with it. So I left. He did contact me at 5 and we were able to meet up. At the time, I didn't realize, I just figured that he wanted to get me back. So I was like, this is great. The no contact rule worked. I'm happy. I'm going to get him back. We're going to be in love. Everything's going to go back the way it was. Yeah, that didn't happen. We're sitting in the car. He's talking to me. First of all, he's looking at everything in my car. I was like getting a little annoyed at him. He was looking at my glove compartment. He was turning back. He was looking at everything. And at the time, I didn't know why he was doing that, but I was like getting annoyed at it. And then I realized that he was looking for clues that something else is going on, like of a boyfriend. I got a text on my phone. My phone made a sound. I don't think it was even a text. It was like an email. And he's like, oh, who is that? Your new boyfriend? I was like, no, it's not my boyfriend. It's just, a text. And then I mentioned a student that a student had came on to me, and he's like, oh, you're going to go out with him? I was like, no, he's too young for me, And he kind of got that satisfaction I wasn't seeing anyone. And then he asked to see me that night. And I was kind of like, everything inside me, my head was telling me, Laura, don't do it. Don't do it on his terms. Tell him you're busy tonight. But that desire to be with him and because it had been months since we had seen each other. It had been, I think, about 4 months since we had really spent time together. We had been a couple. So I was like really feeling it. And I was just like, my emotions just took over. And he was like, I want to hold you tonight. But I have to go to my gym class first. I was like, okay. I was like, when does your gym end? He's like, oh, I'll be home at 9 o'clock, but you could come over now and then just wait for me and I'll be home at 9 o'clock. Which I realized after the moment that it was really disrespectful to do that. I mean, like, this guy didn't see me for 4 months and he couldn't miss his gym one night to see me. So he was basically testing to see if he really had me around his finger, like he used to have me wrapped around his finger. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I waited for him. I went home with him. He even, in his apartment, he didn't even wait for me at the door. He went right upstairs. He was just like, okay, you know what? Come after me. You're down on the floor. You're submissive to me. And we did spend the night together. And I stayed in his apartment for a few hours waiting for him, which was really boring. But I was like, I'm in love. I'm going to get him back. And then right afterward, I texted him the next day to tell him I had a good time. And it went right back to where it was before, where he was ignoring me, didn't see me anymore. So basically, the whole reason for that contact was for him to test the waters and to see where I was at, if I still had that interest in him, if he still had me wrapped around his finger. And from everything that I did, I showed him that yes, he still had me wrapped around his finger. So to do the no contact is a good thing. But once you do it, you can't go back into those old ways. You have to show structure. The best thing I could have done, if we look at what I did wrong now, what I did right was by not giving in to him saying, I'm not available at 5 o'clock. Okay, well, we'll make it another time then. I walked away. So, but once he did say, okay, I'm available, I did say I was available, so I wanted to stick with that. But after that, that's where everything went wrong. First of all, I should have put my foot down with him touching everything in my car. I should have been very vague about whether I was seeing somebody or not. I shouldn't have really given him that straightforward answer like, no, I'm not seeing anybody. Should have been like, yeah, I'm going out, dating, I could say I'm going out with a friend or like when my phone when that phone went off, instead of just saying, no, that's just an email, it's not my boyfriend, I could have just said, oh, that's my friend, and then just seen where he got from that and kept it pretty short and said, you know what, like when he said he wanted to see me that night, said, you know what, I'm really busy tonight, or just say, I'm busy tonight. If you want to get together, I have some time on Wednesday or Thursday. Does any of that day work for you? And he might have said no. I'm probably thinking that he would have said no because that would have been on my terms, and that would have been showing him that he doesn't really have me. So he might have said no today. He might have said yes, might have said no. So we don't know which one. But also, you can't go back into that relationship being all the way under, right? You do want that person back, and you do care for them, and you do love them. But you have to change the playing field, otherwise everything's going to happen all over again. So the first thing you do is you have to have standards. And you have to realize that your time is very valuable. The best way to do this is in the beginning, when you first get in that relationship. Show you have standards. Because when we first get into relationships, we all know when we really like somebody, the people we don't really like too much, we show our standards with them. But the people we really do like, our standards kind of go down. Usually, not with everybody. Not everyone's like this, okay? But it does happen a lot. It happens with me, I know. Until I started learning about everything and trying to fix it. And so you're kind of like, you want to please them, right? So they may say something to you like, I don't really like to go out on formal dates. I mean, you're already on a date with them. You're like, I don't usually do this, because that's what he used to tell me in the beginning. I don't usually go on dates like this. I just kind of hang out at home, or I just do this, I do that. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, me too. That's all I do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to go on dates. Yeah, this is horrible. I don't like to go on dates. Instead of, really, why don't you like to go on dates? Then he'll be like, well, it's just not my thing. I really like going on dates. I think that's a great way to find out if you're compatible with somebody, and you get to enjoy the atmosphere. And I just love it. It's a great thing. It's really fun. I don't know if this is going to work if you don't like to go on dates at all. So by saying those things or something similar to that, you're showing that person what your standards are right away. If you submit in the beginning, they're kind of like testing you. Doesn't mean they're a bad person or that they're a bad fit for you, but people will test you, because people are lazy. I mean, generally, most people are lazy. They will take the lazy route out every time if you allow it. So they're seeing, what will this person allow? They're testing you. Will you just come home to my bed every night and sleep with me, and I don't have to do anything? And wouldn't that get boring after a while? I'd want to be with someone who's willing to come out with me, okay? Because there are a lot of people who would just sit at home. There are a lot of people that have a really active social life that go out with they could be married for 20 years, and they go out with their wife every week, and they do all these other things and all these activities for 20 years, and they never stop doing it. Only because in that first date, she said, you know what? I don't want someone that just sits at home. I like to do this, I like to do that. And if he really wants her and really is feeling attracted to her, he will do that, and he will enjoy it. It's not that he doesn't enjoy it, he just wants to see what he could get away with. We all know men and women alike test people to see what they get away with, just like kids. Kids are growing up, they will test you and say, will mommy say this? Will mommy stop me from doing this? And they'll try a little bit more and more and more. And once you submit and you say, oh, that's okay for now. Yeah, you know what? I said you can't do that, but you know what? It's okay now. Like a lot of women, if later in a relationship, in the beginning, your standards were high. Maybe you didn't submit in the beginning, even though you liked this person really a lot, and your standards were high. Then they started going down. You started giving in little by little by little. So no, a relationship isn't going to be the easiest thing to do. You have to keep your standards up high. So it's you got to keep working at it, and you can't always give in. I mean, a little bit here and there you can do it, but once you start giving in more and more and more, you're going to be staying in all the time and never going out. That does happen in a lot of relationships, because people do get lazy after a while. It's human nature. So that is a no contact rule, and why it works. It does work very well. I'm sure you've seen it on YouTube, on the internet, and it is a great resource. But to just do the no contact rule is good, but you have to also know how to follow it up and how to not turn your relationship back to where it was. If you were that submissive person, use that no contact rule as a tool. If you just waste it, I mean, you have to go all the way back to the end again. If that person contacts you and you're just like, oh yes, I love you and everything like this, and I'm needy and everything, now you gotta start all over with the no contact rule. And it may take you weeks again. Because that person's like, okay, I got her. I still have her. I'm still good now. Now we gotta wait again. Now you gotta go back to square one and hope you don't make the same mistakes. So when this person is contacting you, you have to be really conscious. And you have to be thinking, okay, I can't think with my emotions. I can't think of what I want right now. I got to think of what I want down the line. I want this person right now to go out to dinner or whatever, or do I want this person as a partner? And that's a difference. That makes a difference on what you do. So anyway, so my name is Laura again. I'm a relationship coach. I do help people who have problems with relationships. If you'd like to see more of my videos, this is my first video right now. I'm going to be uploading many more. And if you'd like to perhaps give a donation so you can help me keep making more videos, I do a lot of research. I'm not certified, I don't have a degree or anything, but I have researched over many years, and I've talked to many people, and I've learned from many of my mistakes. So I do the research that you don't have to do. So you can just watch my videos and get that research. I also have a relationship site called TheRelationshipGal.com, where you can see all of my videos on there. I'm going to be putting up a member-only page also. So if you want to become a member, if you do need my advice, you can put comments in the comment page. I'll probably make some videos on, answer some questions in the comments page. You can also send me an email. If you need one-on-one coaching, you can send me an email and see if we can set that up as well. So again, it was nice seeing you all, and this is the no contact rule. And have a good one. Until next time.